Darby Allin was in church, on a church, not in church. He was in it later, but he was sitting on top of it. He was sitting actually on the roof of the church, all the way up on the tippy top of the roof. And then he was walking in the church, and then he set himself on fire. This is one where Stacy was coming through. She was taking Harley out for a walk. I said, okay, you're younger than I am. I said, this guy's got some talent, but the more I see him, the more I dislike him as a person because he really does this shit on purpose rather than it being a gimmick. I said, he skateboards and he does crazy things. He jumps off bridges now he's in this church, and she watched him set himself on fire. And she said, so this is Jackass with a budget. I said, exactly. And she went to have the dog take a piss. And she did mention, she said, I'm taller than he is. I said, exactly. So let me bring this up. The next match was Cody and Darby Allin against Brian Cage and Ricky Starks, Team Taz. Did you hear the story about Darby Allin sleeping in his car?
I did.
For those of you who have not, he did an interview saying before he was on this most recent pay-per-view, where he's achieved his dream of being in wrestling, etc., he wanted to get he wanted to feel like he used to feel. And he wanted to realize how lucky he was and how happy that he's got this far. So before the pay-per-view, he slept in his car like he did in the old days when he didn't have a house or a home or a bed to remind himself of how happy he should be. What the fuck? Seriously? What the fuck? I've had a lot of miserable experiences in my life. And I never once wanted to do them again on purpose so that I could remember what they felt like and realize how happy I was when I was laying in a goddamn $250 a night hotel room in a big soft bed, remembering when I used to stay at the Alamo Plaza in Shreveport with the bugs and the fucking rats of 2 and 4 legs. I never once wanted to go back and stay at that Alamo Plaza. I wanted to lay in that $250 a night room and go, it sure is a lot more comfortable than that was. I've had a couple of hernia surgeries. I didn't want to relive them either. What kind of idiot on purpose, when he's got a hotel room being provided for him, now that he has become a success, what kind of idiot has to remind himself of when he wasn't successful by going out and sleeping in his car on purpose? And if I was the owner of that company or the booker or somebody in charge, I would have said, hey, you dipshit, we're buying you a fucking hotel room so you can sleep in that bed and show up tomorrow feeling good and have a good match. Don't be all stove up from sleeping in your car because you're an idiot. What do you think?
I mean, he's a goofy guy. I mean, I wasn't as offended as you were, but...
Well, that's just stupid.
It's stupid. And the explanation of it by that announce team is stupid, but it is what it is.
Anyway, Darby Allin and Ricky Starks work well together. I will still say Darby Allin is the one of this bunch that shows the way to be a small flyer and use his speed without it just being stupid-looking gymnastics. It means something. It's a different way of doing it. He doesn't just go... just whole hog into these cheerleader routines that look so fucking contrived. So he should be the one doing all this shit because he's the one who can get over with it. He's got a natural magnetism and charisma. It's only if you don't know he really is nuts and goofy and stupid, or if you like people like that. That's, he gets heat with me the more I hear about the shit he does on purpose, personally. But anyway, Cage and Cody did some nice pro wrestling. It was going along fairly well. They went to a break. Taz goes to ringside, and they go to the break. Well, of course, when they come back from break, you see it during the break, Taz interfered. They always have to do this shit in the break, right? He pulls a leg on Cody, but Arn in the other corner gets mad. Instead of going around after Taz, he grabs a chair and throws it into the ring, and the referee ejects him. That didn't make a lot of sense. If the referee didn't see Taz do his thing and Arn had got around and got on Taz, that would mean for him to get, but it didn't make Arn look very bright there. As I look at Cage, I would have loved to have had him in OVW for a year or two. Not only just me, but working with the guys we had at that time that were experienced at different levels, but had been trained properly from the start. When Danny Davis broke that original class in, whether it's Densmore or Conway or Basham or Damaja, he could be a lot farther along as a talent than he is now, because he can do moves, but there's not a lot of psychology and there's not a lot of veteran reaction there, because he's just worked with people that just do moves. So sometimes, these guys go where it gets too late for them. They're going to learn. But Cage, he needs developmental or something badly, because he's got all that potential, and what a physical beast. But the match, the second part of the match, to me, it fell after all the heat they got on Cody. He just cold tagged Darby with neither heel trying to stop him. Just there was no question that was going to happen. And then they did a bunch of back and forth stuff, a bunch of false finishes, and it kind of fell apart to me because everybody was doing everything. And then they just stopped the pretense of tagging or anybody keeping track of who was legal. It was just guys doing shit. And then finally, they go to the turnbuckles again, and this same shit where they have to help each other up on the turnbuckles, and everybody's cooperating, obviously, not to fall off. And Cage picks Darby Allin up with Darby's help and took forever to set up a big power slam, and it was one of those bumps. Whenever you see a guy's body land in two different stages on a bump, it fucking hurt. It shook you up. And it wasn't a flat bump, it was a bump. 1, 2, 3. Blah. And then the heels start getting the heat afterwards. And here comes wonderful Willie Hobbs with a chair. And he comes in. Didn't we just see a fucking deal with a guy with a chair, and he comes in and then just wonder who's he going to turn on, or is he, or what the fuck? Well, they did the same fucking thing, but this time he really did. He turned on Cody, picked up the title belt, and nails Cody with the title belt. Will Hobbs. Let me ask you some more questions. Isn't he the guy that had the brother that was shot, killed in front of his eyes? Gang violence. They did a package on him. Had a great backstory, wonderful smile, a baby face, backstory of this young kid trying to make it. They've had him come out and save several baby faces. He's had, one match that I recall on television? Do I recall one match?
I think it may have been more than one match, but I believe that is the backstory. One
match since they've been pushing him.
Look, we watch a lot of these. I don't know.
I know, but what I'm saying, it's like, and then he turned and like, oh my God, the most shocking thing ever. We didn't even know who this guy was 2 months ago. It's not like he's had this long string of matches where all these baby faces have taken him under their wing because he came out to save them, and they teams with one, he teams with another, he has a match, he gets over as a baby face, people believe in him. Then the shocking turn comes. The shocking turn came after he's had a great backstory. He's saved baby faces a couple times with a chair, and he had one match that I remember that he may have won, I think. And what the fuck? It's just meaningless. It's meaningless sound and motion. I rest my case. I don't know what anybody was doing on either one of these shows, but that's what I took away from that tag match. Did I miss anything that brought it up a level in your eyes?
No, I'll say this. A match like this, Cody, Darby Allin, Ricky Starks, who's great, Brian Cage, Taz. I wish this was in the first half hour of the show, because by this point of the show, I was just ready for it to end.
Yeah. Well,
but I would have liked it more if it was earlier in the show.
It would have been better with a better finish.
Everything. AEW. That's like one of the
better with a better
it's
finish.
One of the logos of AEW, one of the mottos of AEW. Everything would be better with a better finish.
I got nothing else. I'm disappointed in everybody. I think, as a matter of fact, send Kippelman an email, a memo. I think Jay Sharknado should just erase this whole program we've done here. That was a complete waste of not a Wednesday night because I didn't watch it live, but that was a complete waste of part of my Thursday.